Welcome to NFN Radio News, home of no-holds-barred commentary about the issues of our times, plus great weekly interviews with fascinating people. Some of them top experts in their field, others simply with interesting stories to tell. You'll never know who'll show up at NFN Radio News, the podcast brought to you by notfakenews.biz, the daily blog that leans just a little to the left. Now, here's your host, Bob Gaddy, editor and publisher of Not Fake News.
Thanks, Johnny, and thanks, everybody, for joining us at the NFN Radio News podcast. Senator Joe Manchin, the Democrat from West Virginia, who is driving Democrats crazy by blocking their major voter reform bill because he wants to be more bipartisan, is exactly the tool that Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell need to execute their strategy to regain control of the U.S. Senate. Whether what he is doing is a deliberate attempt to satisfy Trump supporters in his home state and act like a semi-Republican, or because he is truly committed to the ideal of bipartisanship, is now being debated. Regardless, his refusal to support the For the People Act, the Democrats' critically important election reform bill, is unconscionable. Manchin is playing directly into the hands of Donald Trump and Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who already hold the filibuster card, and Manchin opposes any effort to take that card away. With a 50-50 tie in the Senate and only Vice President Harris as the deciding vote, Democrats have no margin for lost party line votes. Even with Manchin's support and that of every other Democratic senator and independent Angus King from Maine, 10 Republican votes would be needed to break a GOP filibuster and pass the For the People Act, because it takes 60 votes to invoke cloture and pass the bill. Without his support, that task becomes even more difficult, and it portends perilous times ahead for Biden as he seeks to pass his major infrastructure program, tax reform, and other key initiatives that will face GOP filibusters. Manchin's interview yesterday on CBS's Face the Nation was stunning as he doggedly insisted that he is refusing to support that legislation because it is too political. What? In red state after red state, Republicans are passing politically inspired laws, read that Donald Trump, that are designed to suppress the vote, especially in communities of color. Their boldness and obvious disdain for the right of everyone to vote is unbelievable. And as they defend their actions, they piously say they are defending our most precious right, the right to vote. Unbelievable. And Manchin is enabling them simply by refusing to support the federal legislation that would undo much of the damage that will be caused by those states, like those passed in Florida and Georgia, and just blocked by Democrats in Texas. The 73-year-old Manchin will face re-election in 2024, should he decide to seek another term. He won re-election in 2018 with just under 50% of the vote, and West Virginia is a major GOP and Donald Trump stronghold. Should he retire or be defeated, there is little doubt that his seat would go to the GOP. So it's no wonder that Manchin, the only Democrat to hold statewide office in West Virginia, is walking a political tightrope. In an op-ed published by the Charleston Gazette-Mail, the senator wrote, "The right to vote is fundamental to our American democracy, and protecting that right should not be about party or politics. Least of all, protecting this right, which is a value I share, should never be done in a partisan manner." Then a paragraph later he added, Unfortunately, we now are witnessing that the fundamental right to vote has itself become overtly politicized. Today's debate about how to best protect our right to vote and to hold elections, however, is not about finding common ground, but seeking partisan advantage. Whether it is state laws that seek to needlessly restrict voting, or politicians who ignore the need to secure our elections, partisan policymaking won't instill confidence in our democracy. It will destroy it. I believe that partisan voting legislation will destroy the already weakening binds of our democracy, and for that reason, Manchin wrote, I will vote against the For the People Act. Furthermore, I will not vote to weaken or eliminate the filibuster. Now, this simply smacks of political self-preservation and has little to do with a high-minded desire to achieve bipartisan consensus on this important legislation. Under what rock has been Manchin hiding? Where is the willingness of Republicans to achieve bipartisan consensus? There is none. Does Manchin not see what is happening in our country? There is no coming together politically like might have been possible in days gone by. This is 2021, and either you're a Trump supporter or you're not. There is no in-between. The political lines have been drawn in indelible ink, both in Washington and state houses across the country. Donna Costello, the former mayor of Manchin's hometown of Farmington, West Virginia, tends to give Manchin the benefit of the doubt, but says it's time for him to recognize reality. As much as I appreciate Joe's ideal, maybe that is where his heart is, and maybe that is because of his roots, there has to come a time when you have to realize Republicans are not going to sit down and hold hands and sing Kumbaya, she told CNN, and you have to do what is in the best interest of what put you there. Well, that's exactly what Manchin needs to do, act in the best interest of those who elected him. The problem is that many of those voters also were Trump voters, and so perhaps that is to whom the senator from West Virginia is listening. If that's the case, no amount of cajoling by Biden or Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will make a whit of a difference. Manchin will be Manchin, and the Democrats and America will pay the price. Now we're going to pause for just a minute, but I'll be right back with some closing comments. Thanks, guys, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you'll come back on a regular basis. For our longtime listeners, you know that we provide narrations of commentary published every day on notfakenews.biz, like this one. But we've expanded our offering to include newsmaker interviews, and we're going beyond the world of politics for those, presenting guests and topics that I hope you find interesting and enlightening. Right now, we're streaming an episode about Dave Fleischer, who's embarked on a 15,000-mile journey across and around the United States in honor of his daughter, who passed away from a rare cancer, cholangiocarcinoma. Dave's visiting with many who have been affected by this disease as he stops at some 18 communities named Hope. Online now is an updated report with Dave as he reports in from his second week on the road, exclusively to NFN Radio News. That's just another reason for you to follow NFN Radio News so you don't miss an episode. You never know who'll be showing up. And check out notfakenews.biz too, where you'll find new material just about every day by some excellent writers with perspectives on a whole range of topics. You can sign up as a member at notfakenews.biz. And of course, it's all free. Also, let your friends know about this podcast and about notfakenews.biz. Our goal is to be informative and entertaining as we comment on the latest developments in the news, with just a little lead to the left. Now this is Bob Gaddy signing off for NFN Radio News and NotFakeNews.biz.